What's up, guys? Back here with part 2 on how to get your ex back. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about how to do no contact and why no contact is important. You know, one thing that I see is that a lot of guys, when they go no contact, meaning either whether it's reciprocated from their girl, whether your girl went no contact first, or you're just reciprocating or mirroring the energy that she gives you. A lot of guys tend to do this wrong. Some guys abuse it. Some guys misuse it. But in this video, what we're going to do is we're just going to correct that, and we're going to give you a guide, right? And we're going to give you a guide to how to get your girlfriend back. And I just want to provide a lot of value. And this is something that usually would be all Patreon content, but I want to give this sauce for free because I just want to provide a lot of value for these guys. Now, a lot of guys want to know, how long should I go no contact, right? Or if my girl cuts me off and she goes no contact. Well, in psychology, there's something called the fading effect bias, or the fading effect bias. And basically what this says is the fading effect bias, more commonly known as FBA, is a psychology phenomenon in which memories associated with negative emotions tend to be forgotten more quickly than those associated with positive emotions. It is more important to note that FAB, as in fading effect bias, only refers to feelings one has associated with the memories and not the content of the memories. And usually this is about a 6-week period. Now, when going no contact, if someone leaves you, if someone decides not to be bothered with you ever again, the best amount of time is always, number one, is to go no contact forever. Because if someone doesn't want you, you should understand that you should not want them in return. But most people live in scarcity. Most people have a scarcity mindset. So, most people are not going to go forever. And even myself, I can go forever, but if you truly love somebody, that's not something you want. Even though you can do it, it's like, damn, well, you have to give that person space either way. But ideally, taking in the fading effect bias, FAB, not the rapper, but taking into the fading effect bias, ideally is 6 weeks, right? Like I said, ideally 6 weeks, if you can't go longer than that. The best is always to go no contact forever, at least until that person reaches out to you. Because one thing you have to understand is, if somebody pulls away from you, if somebody's not feeling you, if somebody breaks up with you, their attraction is the lowest that it's ever been. There is no amount of explaining that can do anything to make that person come back to you. And a lot of the times, most guys act in such a scarcity in their whole relationship. The first time that they do this, usually it doesn't even make it to 6 weeks. Some people usually come back after a month. 3 weeks to a month is the most. But sometimes you need to do this, and it helps, and what that's doing is, when you go 6 weeks or you go a certain amount of time without talking to somebody, what you're showing that you have high value. You're displaying a level of strength, which also means that you probably have options and you're not panicking. Most men don't do that. So the fact that you can do that alone will separate you from the herd. And you have to understand, silence is not saying anything. Being in silence is sending the biggest message of them all. Silence is not just saying, oh, I'm not saying nothing, I forgot about. No. Silence is saying, yeah, you can go, but I don't care. Or you can go, but I'm not going to chase you. You can go and you can not talk to me, but I'm not going to run and kiss your ass. You're displaying a different level of strength, a different level of mental fortitude. Sometimes that person may genuinely not want you anymore. Sometimes that person may genuinely not care about you anymore, which is even more of a reason as to why you shouldn't chase that person. If you didn't watch the first video, I explained thoroughly why chasing, begging, pleading, kicking, and crying will not help. Yeah, sure, it may work for a week, but eventually she's lost respect for you. Whether that be a submissive girl, whether that be a busy girl. And yes, of course, there's always exceptions in this world, right? There's just about exceptions for just about anything in any aspect of life, but it's not the majority. It is not, in most cases, it is not something that you're going to see on a regular basis. And it doesn't matter which country, it doesn't matter which religion you're from. Most people behave in this way. There's only a few exceptions that I know of. If you're abiding by certain religious laws, and that usually, stems from Islam. But other than that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But 6 weeks is ideally. Now, with that being said, how do you operate in no contact? Now, this is going to be a few levels, which is why this is a 3-video series, maybe 4. But let's explain. We explained. Now, if you don't know what no contact is a phenomenon of going silent of a person you love or a person you're pursuing. Usually, no contact is very abnormal. And it's not normal to do. When you're used to speaking to someone every day or every other day, or even if you go a day without speaking to them, in most cases, it's not due deliberately, right? Most people, when they do go on a day, even if they're mad at each other, it usually doesn't last that long. And people like consistency. People are used to being comfortable in a certain way. And when you do this, a lot of people start to panic. People start to cry. People, they'll act crazy. They'll blow up your phone. They'll get frustrated. They'll get upset. And no contact is a series of silence. And what does that mean? That means if you're going no contact and somebody's not talking to you, if somebody doesn't want to go talk to you, obviously you have to mirror their energy. But no contact doesn't mean just not texting. Because some people will say, oh, I'm not texting them, KB. I'm doing good, right? Okay, well, you're not texting them, but are you looking at their story? Oh, yeah, I look at her Instagram. No, you can't look at their Instagram story. No contact means no contact. You have to pretend as if that person has left the planet Earth, right? Let's say if they went to another dimension, another realm, or let's say if they went to Mars. They do not exist here anymore. You have to pretend as if they are not here. And what does that mean? Well, in reference to no contact anyway. When we get to the later videos, it'll make sense why that not exactly the mindset you should have. But when it comes to no contact, you have to pretend they don't exist as far as trying to reach out to them. So that means no texting, no calling, no looking at Instagram stories, no looking at Snapchat stories. If they pull away from you and they say they want space, they want to be friends, they want to break, I'm breaking up with you, I don't love you no more. I don't care what the reason is. Even if she says we're not meant to be, oh, I hate you, you're disgusting, don't ever talk. Even if she says the worst ever, and you want her back, you can get her back. I guarantee it. 100% certainty. You just have to believe in the process. If you believe in the process, you can get any girl back. Some girls are not worth having back, but that's something that you need to determine. But no contact means absolutely no contact. Now, on a basic level, what you have to understand is attraction grows in space. Attraction grows in space. Have you ever missed somebody? Have you ever not? Even if you're with a loved one, right? See, if you have a girlfriend and you talk to them every day, for example, which I wouldn't recommend, but nothing wrong with talking every day, but all day, every day. Even if it's in excess, you talk to them every day, but you haven't seen them for a few days. What happens? They miss you. And if they're not talking to you every day, and then they're also not speaking to you at all, what's going to happen? They're going to miss you only naturally, especially explaining what I just talked about with the fading effect bias. Attraction grows in space. So in space, attraction grows. So sometimes you need space. Also throwing into account that this person's attraction for you is probably lower than it's ever been. which is the reason why sometimes they actually want to take space from you, right? And one thing you got to understand is when she pulls away, you need to pull away also. Because if you don't, and this is something that's going to be repetitive, but it has to be so you guys understand, because repetition is the key to memorizing anything or just doing anything, that when it comes to repetition, when it comes to pulling away, I mean, you have to pull away also, because you will make the situation worse, right? Say if a woman initially pulls away, the best thing to do right away, if anything, you can ask. You can say, hey, what's your reason for this? Why are you doing this? Like, what's your reason? That's okay. That's okay to ask. That's okay to say, okay, why are you doing this? Like, what's your reason for, okay, well, you know what? Your very next response should be, even if you say, okay, well, that's not true, this, that, and the third, you explain, but you say, okay, you know what? I respect your decision and I'll give you your space. And sometimes right there, that shit ends. Some girls aren't expecting you to do that, but that just filters out whether they're playing a game or they're serious, whether they're trying to test you or they really lost attraction, right? So when a woman does this, and sometimes they may actually need space. Sometimes girls may be going through things, and some guys don't understand that. Like, you're used to talking to this girl every day. What if she's having family problems, right? And she didn't tell you yet, or something, maybe she's a little embarrassed to tell you, or maybe you guys are not in a space where you're close enough to even talk about that yet. And you're not understanding that. But in panicking and because your routine is thrown off, what happens? Now you start to panic and you expose yourself. Like, oh, damn, he's really needy. Oh, my God. Like, why is he blowing up my phone? Damn, I thought he was this alpha, this masculine, steady, guy who doesn't panic for nothing. But now he's just like blowing up my phone. You're killing the attraction. You're making the situation 10 times worse. Don't do that. Right. And sometimes women actually need space. Sometimes they actually need space. Sometimes it might not last a week. Sometimes it might not last 2 weeks. Sometimes it may last longer. Sometimes they need that. And I know it's hard, but you need to be patient. You have to be patient, and you have to pull away also. I know it's one of the hardest things to do, but it's something that has to be done. And that's what you guys need to understand. Now, let's talk about going no contact the right way. Because I see guys do this, and they do it, and they'll mess it up 100%. A lot of guys will mess it up 100%. For example, a guy says, okay, KB, I went no contact for a month. And then I hit her back. Okay. When did she hit you up? A month later? No, she hit me up 4 days later, 5 days later. She hit me up a day later, but I still stayed steady for a month. Dude, are you out your rabbit ass mind? If a girl doesn't talk to you for a day, you don't ignore her for a month. That's nonsense. That's lunacy. Then the girl's really going to think you moved on. Then she's probably going to move on. Some guys are too extreme. Some guys are so live in such scarcity that they'll be like, oh man, she didn't talk to me. Like, oh man, she's going to go hook up with somebody. Dude, it's been 12 hours. Cut it out. But then some guys, oh, she didn't talk to me for 24 hours. I'm going to mirror her energy. And I'm not going to talk to her for 3 weeks. No, that's not mirroring. Mirroring is exact, right? And even if you mirror her energy times 2, right? But some guys are, some coaches and some guys are of the school of thought where if a girl pulls back, you want to mirror her energy, right? And then, when she does hit you back, you hit her back. Or some guys say, or this is something that I even used to say, but it's evolved. I used to say, well, if she goes no contact on you, you mirror her energy times 2. So if she doesn't hit you up for a week, you go a whole week or 2. But I feel as if that's a bit too extreme. So how you should do this now. If a girl doesn't hit you back for like maybe 12 hours, okay, that's fine. You don't hit her back. In that time, you may text her once, you may call her once, or maybe call her twice. She doesn't answer, okay, cool. You don't continuously blow up her phone. You wait for her to hit you back. You stay calm, you stay patient, you stay calm, cool, and collected. You sit back and you observe the situation. You don't jump in and you don't panic. You see the time go on. Oh, damn, it's been 3 hours. Okay, 4 hours, 5 hours. Okay, interesting. You sit back and observe. Maybe you prepare the questions that you're going to ask her. You try to sit and think, why is she doing this? Does she have a reason to do this? Is she testing me? Is she losing attraction? Did she bring up anything prior to this that would be an indicator that she's mad? And if she's mad, okay, let her be mad. Let her take her space. You don't want to overindulge in somebody when they're upset, because it's like little kids. You know, when a little kid falls and he looks up at his parents, and the parents run to him and try to like cuddle him and cater to him, and they start crying. But some kids, they'll fall, and the kid falls, and the parent look at him and say, "You okay? You'll be all right." And kid plops up and goes about his day. And well, it's the same thing with women. If a woman, if she's upset and you cater to her and run to her every time she's upset, she's going to say, "Oh, I got his number. I know how to get my way, because I'm going to just be upset at him. And if he don't give me my way, I'm just not going to talk to him. I'm increasing that behavior. It's going to increase." But if she is upset and she see you mad, right? And you see she's mad, and then she be like, "Well, I'm upset." You be like, just like the little kid. "Oh, yeah, all right. You be all right. It's all right. You get over it." You don't say that to her, but you don't overindulge in entertaining. You don't overindulge in catering, right? Because if she needs her space, let her take her space. She's an adult. If she has a problem, she'll talk about it. When she's ready to talk, she'll talk. But ignoring you is not adult-like. It's very immature. And if you're an adult and you're in a mature relationship, you need to handle things like adults. She sit back because women know who they can get away with this with. If you're going to entertain it, she knows you're going to entertain it. Okay, she wanted that. Oh, well, I'm going to exploit his weaknesses. Don't do it. You can't entertain it. When she pulls back, you want to mirror her energy. Now, if a girl ignores you for a week, okay, usually I say you do the same thing. Now, if a girl ignores you for a week, you don't hit her up. You don't hit her back during that time. But when she finally does hit you up, say you wait about a day. You wait about a day before you hit her back. So let's say she hits you, she ignored you from Sunday to Friday, and then she hits you up on a Friday. What happens? You don't hit her back that Friday, because one, you have to understand, you ignored me for this long. I'm in no hurry to hit you back. Who do you think you are? You can just not text me for a whole week like I don't have feelings? No heads up, no nothing? Because in a week, a lot of people think that, they're done with you. They don't care about you. 2 weeks is a bit excessive. Anything longer than that, we're done. That's what you're communicating to me, that you're done. And if you still want her after that, it's the same thing with me. Even relatively recent, I had a shorty who pulled back, right? And it was a while. It was like a month. First week, I was like, damn, I miss her. And given the reasons why she did it, it was valid reasons. But you have to understand, whenever somebody pulls back, they have lost attraction. But, I said, valid reason. Second week, I'm like, okay. I'm just still doing some work, some mental work, I'm certain she'll come back. Third week, I'm like, honestly, I could care less. Because after a certain amount of time, it's like, why should I care so much when you pulled away from me? You're not concerned. You're not super concerned with coming back to me. So why should I be super concerned? And I have a very abundant mentality. Although I was certain she would come back, and she did. My thing was, after a while, it's like, the negative thoughts start to creep in your head. It's like, damn, what is she doing all this time? Damn, she really pull back. She really lost feelings. And I know how this works. You can regain attraction. You can always get her back. But after a certain point, I'm like, I want her, but I don't. And that's where your mindset should be. That's where your mindset should be. It's a paradoxical situation that you should eventually arise to. But you want to be balanced. So if she ignores you for about a week or two, even a month, maybe, okay, you ignore me for that long, I'll hit you back 2 or 1 day later. The minimum 1 day later, but maybe 2 or 3 days later. No longer than that. But if it's a week, maybe hit her back a day later. 2 days later is the most. I would say even 4 is okay if it's been more than a week or a month or 3 weeks. But after a certain amount of time, my whole philosophy is, listen, I don't care what she did. But if you step out on me while we're together and you hook up with another dude, even if it's just making out, even if you didn't go the whole, even if he didn't get the whole three bases, even if you get the whole home run, I don't want you anymore. Because if you have the ability to step out on me, that's just two things. One, my game was a little off, and that's okay because I'm not perfect either. And two, there's something in you that can get over me so well till you can want another man. That's not a situation I want to fix. Because I have an abundant mentality, and I know that as beautiful as she is, as much as I love her, and whatever it is, I know I can find someone just like her or better. And that's my boundaries, and those should be your boundaries too. And you got to understand certain things are not worth trying to fix. Now, the point is you need to mirror her energy. If she reaches out, you reach out back. Don't reach out right away. Don't respond right away. You don't respond right away. And when you do respond, you want to speak and talk as if nothing ever happened. You want to speak and talk as if you don't care. Just act like nothing ever happened. Like, oh, hey, what's up? How you been? Oh, I hit you up yesterday. Oh, I was just a little busy. What was going on? Oh, you want to meet? Oh, sure. I mean, when I'm free, yeah, we can do that. Catch up and talk about it. Act like nothing ever happened. Obviously, it's been affecting you. But you want to pretend, you want to act as if it doesn't affect you. It's going to affect you. It affects me. And if you're watching this, more than likely, I have more experience than you, right? I've been dating since I was like 12 years old, full-blown dating, doing everything that people do in relationships. It's going to affect you. And you have to understand, when a woman pulls away, all the talking in the world will not fix your situation. I don't care what you say. And I want to embed this in your head. And a lot of guys get into this logical place like, yo, if I just convince her, if I just tell her this, maybe she'll understand. It does not matter. Why doesn't it matter? Why? Because her attraction is lower than it's ever been. And when her attraction is low, she's seeing you at your lowest point. She's seeing you lower than she's ever seen you. She is not attracted to you. Some cases, she may be attracted to someone else. She may be plotting on someone else. And the best thing that you can do is mirror her energy to pull away, especially if you've never done it before, especially if you've never displayed strength. You don't want to go out like a sucker. You don't want to go out making things bad. And if you can fix things, if you can make things better, if you can get her back, this is the first step, is to mirror her energy. And a lot of guys don't understand that. And if you have a hard time understanding that, take notes on this shit and look at it and study it. Revisit it. Revisit the video. You cannot and you will not change her mind with logic. You can never change a girl's mind. You only change her emotions. And how do you change her emotions? By mirroring her energy. And this point, because there's not really much you can do. If somebody doesn't want you, you can't beg for them back. We talked about this. And guys have the hardest time about this. You know why I know guys have the hardest time with this? Because guys who book coaching, guys who are paying, before, but coaching is now $1,000 a month. You're paying $1,000 a month. I'm giving you this information, and you can't fix it to just have enough self-control. This guy's telling me this. They're paying their hard-earned money saying, well, I just don't have enough self-control. Okay, well, you don't have enough self-control, and you're going to make your situation even worse because you can't control your emotions as a grown-ass man. The work will be worth it. You have to stay patient for a while. You have to. Because if you don't, you will make the situation worse, and then you can kiss her goodbye forever. Forever. Now, what are some of the reasons that girls can do this? Obviously, number one, her attraction has lowered. That's a given. That's a given. Her attraction is lowered. And if a girl pulls away and she's serious and she doesn't want to fuck with you anymore, they're expecting you to chase. Number one, they've probably dated guys in the past that have done this. Even I've made the mistake. Only ever once, though. You go and hit her up, you blow up her phone, she pulls away. And at some point, just about every girl's going to do it. They're going to pull away. But when they do pull away, You can't panic. But that's one reason why they could do it. And that's usually most of the time. Another reason is she could be testing you. She could be testing you to see how you react. And if she's just testing you to see how you react, even if she does have a lot of pride, it usually doesn't go more than a week. Because it's just kiddie games. And that's usually how it goes. It usually doesn't go more than a week when they're testing you. But, you know, being able to go no contact and be able to not to break it first usually shows how, or filters out whether a girl's playing games or not. Because if she goes over a certain time, there's something lost there. Something was lost. Whether there's the feelings or whatever it is, something is lost. Whether she found out some information and didn't tell you, whatever it is, something was lost. Now, sometimes, you know, she could have just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Who knows, right? Sometimes she could just genuinely be not in a good mood, right? She could be trying to manipulate you, but that's the same thing as testing you, right? She's not going to talk to you to get a reaction out of you so she can get away with something. Maybe you did something to upset her. You know, maybe she's just, you know, like I said, maybe she just lost feelings. But women want to know, for the most part, if you can handle them, if you can handle their bad behavior, if you can handle their emotions. And usually at some point, this test has to happen because women want to know if, like, all right, well, if he's going to panic, because most guys do this, especially if they're used to men and they see you don't fall for it, then they're just like, okay, well, he's not going to chase me. I know he's not, but I want to see how he reacts. Especially when girls start to think things are getting serious, especially like, you know, a lot of guys been through this. Everything is going great. Everything is going perfect at one point. And then all of a sudden, boom, she just pulls away. If it doesn't add up, if it doesn't make sense, more than likely it's a test. And you need to be patient. And the only way that this ever doesn't make sense, if you follow these rules, is you didn't filter her out at the beginning. And she's not that kind of good girl that you should have put in that number one position anyway. There's always reasons for it, you know. And in this situation, when you show a girl that when you show a girl anger and you get frustrated, it not only adds fuel to the fire, but now she knows how to control you. You know, she knows how to control your emotions, right? If you show her that, okay, like I said before, if you panic and you start blowing up her phone, now she knows how to control you, right? And this is why it's always better to just neutralize her emotions and mirror her. Because when she knows that, all right, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. And if I pull back, he's going to panic. If I do this, he's going to get mad and angry. So now she knows how to press your buttons. Now she knows how to pull your coattail, right? But you neutralize that shit by just mirroring her and being patient. Most guys don't understand that. Most guys think that, oh, well, if I do this, if I do that, then, you know, she's going to leave me. Not always, man. If you know she's a good girl, if you know she's not going to do that, then, you know, that's not something you have to worry about, right? You know, if she comes, and another thing, if she becomes rude and disrespectful, pull away. Pull away. You don't want to entertain bad behavior. You can't reward bad behavior, right? And, you know, these are some of the things that you guys need to know about no contact. And the no contact is a super crucial part. Now, these two videos alone, the first part 1 and part 2, should be enough for the most of you. The most of you. That should be enough for most of you. But is this next video, or these next 2 videos, which is where we put the certainty and how we guarantee you will get her back. Now, I would just say you would have to subscribe to Patreon for the next 2 videos or the next video. But what this video is going to do is going to teach you a series of steps. It's going to teach you a series of techniques, which I used. I had 3 exes. 3 main exes, and I got them all back. Not always in the situation and predicaments in which I wanted them, but I always got them back. I always got them back, and they always came back. And the only reason I'm sighing is because, one of them, I just was like, I don't know. I was getting money, and I got a new car. That's when I got my Camaro. And it was like my first car that I actually got on my own without the help of my parents. And I was just distracted. I was getting too much girls. So it just didn't work out. She was such a good girl. I kind of regret, but it's whatever. I don't regret it. I don't. I take that back. And the second one, she already had hooked up with another dude. And I don't think I really wanted her. I just didn't want her to be with that one person. And it was like a dude that I knew. It was like, oh, come on, dude. Like, why you got to do that? You can mess with anybody in the world. I even told her, I don't care if you mess with it. Go mess with your ex or something. Why you got to mess with a dude that I see on a regular basis, But I did get her back. But it wouldn't have worked. It was like, it didn't feel right, Once a girl, and I told her that I would never get back with her, and I did, but it didn't feel right. I ended up blocking her. But it just never feels right when you know she got with somebody else. And the techniques that I used to get her back, I got them all back the same ways. And I got them back using the same techniques. And I never talked to them once. I never called them. I didn't look at their page. I didn't text them. I didn't call. I didn't do anything. I didn't look at their Snapchat story. I didn't do anything. And they all came back. 100% certainty. Now, this I can tell you, 100% certainty, they will come back. You just have to be patient. And in saying that, they will come back, but it may not always be under the circumstances that you want. She may have caught a body in that time. She may not. But now that I'm a little older, I have a better way of controlling that. I have a better way of mastering that. And one thing you guys have to understand is that you're the author of your reality. Life is a projection of your thoughts and your actions and your feelings, mostly important. And in the next 2 videos, that is what we're going to get into, explaining how to get your person back with certainty. If you're not subscribed to Patreon, I advise you to subscribe to Patreon. If you need to book a call to get these techniques, you can do that too. Or